Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you brothers out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This lesson is going to be entitled, This Shooter Was Antifa, but Who Was Antifa Started By? Okay. Something along those lines. I really don't have the title right now, but something along those lines, because this shooter in this Trump scenario, which this is the theater of the media. Okay, this event is getting a lot of attention. Of course, as we expect, it should get a lot of attention. It's a major event, which can lead to a lot of different things, but one of the things it highlights is that the citizens are also a threat, and they have a term called homegrown terrorists, okay, which is going to allow them to be very hostile towards the citizens of America, okay, and not just America. These type of things are going to happen worldwide, but mainly the focus is on America because that's Babylon the Great. Now, I want to get this scripture, Corinthians. Okay. Salakia, give me a second. The computer's bugging out. All right, this is 2 Corinthians 2:11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices." Could read that also in another version. I can read that in the NLT. It says, "So Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes." We're familiar with the evil schemes of these elites because they use the same playbook. All right, they do the same things over and over and over again. All right. Now, one thing, one thing we know is that nothing is really by chance when it comes to the media, what the media pushes out there. They constantly want to have, want to paint a narrative, to fit their purpose. And one of the things they want to show you is that the citizens are a threat. This is why they created people like Antifa, like BLM, like the far right, the Proud Boys, certain far right groups. They set up these different groups for what? For the purpose of chaos. All right, because that's where you get the ordo ab chaos. This term we always mention, man, order out of chaos. You got to understand that, and this is gonna lead to something. This thing here is a major thing. You try to assassinate a presidential candidate, right? That's a major thing. Okay, so now they have to ramp up security. They got to do certain things and possibly pass certain legislations. We'll see what they do. Okay, but we know that this is going to lead to certain things. Now, when you look up the word Antifa, okay, going to Antifa, it means anti-fascist. Okay, so when you go here and you read the New Yorker article, right, and these people are funded, right, but it's hard to find who they're funded by specifically, but these people are funded, and and people don't really know how are they funded, but they're funded. They're paid to do these things. A lot of these people are upper class Edomites that came from well-to-do families that are behind these masks and causing all this chaos, man. Right? It says Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook by Mark Bray, is part history, part how-to. Okay, it says on October 4, 1936, tens of thousands of Zionists, oh, you gotta watch that word, socialists, Irish dock workers, communists, anarchists, and various outraged residents of London's East End gathered to prevent Oswald Mosley and his British Union of fascists from marching through their neighborhood. Now we're going to look up the word fascism, okay? So you brothers understand what fascism is, all right? It says fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement. So this is a far-right, authoritarian, right? Political ideology. Now let's look up this word authoritarian. We got to get into all these words, man. We got to understand. We can't be ignorant of Satan's devices, man. All right. This is authoritarianism. It says is a political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status quo, and reductions in democracy, separation of powers, and the rule of law, right? So this is giving more power to the government, okay? Which also pays into the hands of what? The elites, you see? So either side you go, whether you go to the left or whether you go to the right, it's all leading to the same purpose. They're all fighting for the same purpose, to lead you to authoritarianism, to lead you to a tyrannical system. Let's get Revelations, the 13th chapter. Okay, we'll start at the 11th verse. Damn, it's moving slow. I got all these tabs open like Apostle Tahar. Hold on, Revelation 13. Let's see. Man, okay, come on. Moving extra slow, man. Okay. Okay. Let's go to verse 11, and it reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Right? Now we know that's the revival of the Roman Empire. The two horns represent what? The political system. Okay, you got the Democrats, Republicans. Here in Canada, you have the liberals, you have the conservatives, which is the same thing, just different names. In London, UK, you got the Labour Party, you got the conservatives, right? Which is the same thing. It all leads to, it's all the same type of political systems, and there's always two that are dominant. You don't even know about the other ones because the other ones will never win. They'll never get up to that level because it's a two-party system, right? But they're all controlled by the same people. Now, this is that illusion, okay? The two horns, man, okay? And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, which is the Roman Empire, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Okay, right? Meaning they're what? They're gonna bow down to the system. They're trying to lead you to bow down to this system that's getting ready to come, the NWO. And guess what? Don't think that if Trump gets up in there, he's gonna save you from that. He ain't not gonna save you. He's gonna be used as a tool. Okay. Now, whether this whole thing was staged or whatnot, we don't know. We'll see. Okay. And it really doesn't matter. It all leads to the same thing, whether it's staged or not, as long as the people believe it. Okay. So that's the word authoritarianism. It says is a political system characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status quo, and reductions in democracy. Right, so democracy, what, the power to vote and all that, there's going to be a reduction in that, people having a choice and all this, which that's still an illusion anyway. It says separation of powers and the rule of law. Political scientists have created many typologies describing variations of authoritarian forms of government. Authoritarian regimes may be either autocratic or oligarchic, and believed may be based upon the rule of a party or the military. States that have a blurred boundary between democracy and authoritarianism have sometimes been characterized as hybrid democracies, hybrid regimes, or competitive authoritarian states. The political scientists, well, it's going into a whole bunch of words. Let's just get the straight up definition, okay? Because let's go to Webster, man. Because the least words is the best, okay? Let's get a straightforward meaning. Of relating to or favoring blind submission to authority. And this is what they want. See that? There we go. All that word vomit we don't need. Okay? It says of relating to or favoring blind submission to authority. Okay? Because they want you to blindly follow. And if you don't blindly follow the system, right, they're going to have to get rid of you. They don't want nobody that's a thinker. They don't want a nation of thinkers. Okay? It says, had authoritarian parents of relating to or favoring a concentration of power in a leader or an elite not constitutionally responsible to the people, meaning they don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about what the people's rights. You don't have any rights. You better follow the system. Okay? Let's continue Revelations 13 real quick. It says, verse 13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Right? His nuclear bombs, his atomic bombs, so on and so forth. Right? It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, his image being the system, okay, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life, because when you go to the Roman Empire, right, that was an authoritarian thing. Okay, whatever Caesar decreed, that's what he decreed. Okay, and it was done, and he was not held accountable for it. Okay, it says and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And that's where you get man, who was that there was one complete demon, Draco, man. Draco, he was just putting people to death for petty crimes. There was no constitutional rights of the people. Okay, if you stole something, you stole a loaf of bread, you're getting put to death. You're not being penalized, you're getting put to death. Oh, I was hungry, I was starving. That doesn't mean you're getting put to death. You committed a crime, you're getting put to death. That was his thing. Right? And guess what? He was not accountable because what? He was authoritarian. He was an authoritarian. Okay? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we'll see if Trump gets up in there. But I always said, if Trump gets in there, right? I've been saying, if Trump gets in there, he's going to be the biggest tyrant that you ever seen in your life. Okay? That's what's going to happen. And now with this type of thing happening, he has an excuse to go to crack down hard on particular ideologies, man. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see what's going on, bro. Because I don't know what kind of shooter is that can graze somebody's ear and not put them to death, right? But then they said it was some glass that shattered that hit him. Okay, and it only happened to hit him. Well, hey, we don't know. Listen, it doesn't matter. It all leads to the same thing. Okay, but let me read this part again. It said, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, meaning blindly follow, whether it makes sense or not, blindly follow, whether it's right or not. Okay, just like when Nebuchadnezzar made the decree to bow down and worship the image that he set up, right? When the music was played, yeah, he wanted you to blindly follow. Okay, and if you didn't, you would be put to death. Well, this is what they're getting ready to do with this NWO. It's either you get down with the system, and they're gonna have their excuses. There's gonna be events that pop off that's gonna give like this and way worse, that are gonna make them say, listen, you know, you better get down, or you're a threat. You see. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And if he gets in, he's gonna push this. Okay, whoever's in next is going to push this MOTB, and it's gonna and I believe they're gonna push it real hard, real quick. Okay. Well, after the particular events that they need to pop off, man. Okay, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right. So unless you have that mark, unless you have that particular thing inside of you, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Very simple. Very simple. And these other camps still haven't explained how that can be tied to your beliefs. Oh, yeah. How are you going to buy and sell based upon your beliefs? Anyways, and then this is dealing with men. It said that no man, you see this word man? So these guys are bending over backwards to try to make up a breakdown that doesn't equal the micro C hip, when everything points to the micro C hip. Anyways, so that was the word of authoritarianism, right? So this is what fascism is. At the end of the day, it's a far right authoritarian system. Okay? All right. So is this good? No, it's not good. Okay? But this is what Antifa is all about. They're against that, right? But that's why they created them, to come up against that, which is against the right wing. And they're very this group is known for being violent, for doing. They're basically known and deemed for doing certain violent acts and certain what they would call extremist acts and so on and so forth. All right, so continuing on, it says. It said, right, so this was, right, they were trying to stop Oswald Mosley and his British Union of fascists from marching through their neighborhood. This clash would eventually be known as the Battle of Cable Street. Protesters formed a blockade and beat back some 3,000 fascist black shirts and 6,000 police officers, all right? So they were against the system. Well, the scripture said, there shall be sedition among men. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Right? To stop the march, the protesters exploded homemade bombs. Right? Oh, didn't they say that this guy who tried to assassinate DJ Trump? Didn't they say he had explosives in his car? They always got some explosives. They always got some background story, you know. Right? So he had explosives as well. Right? So somehow he thought he was gonna live to use the explosives after doing that. I don't know. Right? But that's the story. And this is part of what inspired the Antifa movement, was this event, right, that I'm reading about. Right? It said the protesters exploded homemade bombs threw marbles at the feet of police officers. So don't be surprised if something like that happens. You know, particular bomb or something like that from one of these crazy people, man. Right? These people that were ultimately, set up, and turned over a burning lorry. They rained down a fusillade of projectiles on the marchers, and the police attempting to protect them. Attempting to protect them. Rocks, brickbats, shaken up lemonade bottles, and the contents of chamber pots. Mosley and his men were forced to retreat. In Antifa, the anti-fascist handbook published last week by Melville House, the historian Mark Bray presents the Battle of Cable Street as a potent symbol of how to stop fascism. a strong, unified coalition outnumbered and humiliated fascists to such an extent that their movement fizzled. For many members of contemporary anti-fascist groups, the incident remains central to their mythology, a north star in the fight against fascism and Edomite supremacy. So that's what's going on here, okay? And they said that the rise of Antifa happened after Donald Trump's inauguration. That's when it was really started to be activated, okay? Right? The movement profile, I'll read it from here. The movement profile has surged since Antifa activists engaged in a wave of property destruction during Donald Trump's inauguration. So the thing is, they were against Donald Trump, okay? When one masked figure famously punched the white supremacist Richard Spencer in the face, and ahead of a planned appearance in February by Milo Yiannopoulos at the University of California. So anyways, so that's what that whole Antifa thing is, and that was all set up. So this guy was that, right? Let me get rid of this page for now. This guy's that, and so that's all fishy. That's all some things that, you know, that makes our eyebrows go up, you know? And when you look at it, the fact checkers try to say that the so-called fact checkers try to say that Soros didn't fund that, but it says that he funded the BLM and all this and that, right? It says false claims about Soros, right? Which really they kind of beat around the bush, right? They kind of beat around the bush because you know, they don't really get to the point of, no, he does not support this, and you know, whatever the case, he doesn't support this group. It kind of just painted his organization, and I'll try to say the organization, Open Society Foundations, right? They try to paint that as, oh yeah, they fight against, you know, they fund groups that are against racism and certain things, but but then when you look at it, when you read a particular article, it basically says that he did fund them. So you don't know, but then when you say that he funded them, they look at that as anti-Sem statement. Okay, so what's this one? This one says, what is Antifa? How did Antifa start? Where do they protest? No, that's not what I want. Get rid of this. Which one is this now? What is Antifa and who funds it? You know? So, Antifa protest. I want to get to the part of who funds it. It says little is known about who funds Antifa activists or how the group get their resources. Yeah, little is known. We know who's doing that, right? The ones who have the funds to fund them, okay? The ones who have the money to fund them, okay? The people behind the people who you know, who pull the strings, man. It said Antifa is not a single organization, and therefore the small hats ultimately, and therefore financial details, if any, exist are murky. Earlier this week, Trump tweeted the United States of America will be designated Antifa will be designating Antifa as a terrorist organization, and these are U.S. citizens. Okay, these are U.S. citizens. These Antifa people, right? But they're going to designate them as terrorists, right? And if you have a similar ideologies that they might deem similar to them, they can also label you as that, right? So this is something to look into, man. It's something to really, keep your eyes on. Oh yeah, and the guy who was Crooks, what's his name? Thomas Crooks. This guy who they're saying is the shooter, right? Which there's a video out saying, you got the wrong guy, but that video doesn't really have any context to it, so we don't know if he did that before the shooting. We don't know what that's all about, okay? Because that's only like a 30-second clip and it doesn't have any context. But when you look at this, right, this video here on Odyssey, the Angry American, he's going into all to prove that this guy was an Antifa member, or that not that he was Antifa. What shows that he leading to him being an Antifa member, but shows that he was for the Democratic Party. He was funding certain Democratic. He donated to certain Democratic movements. Like I believe one was called the Blue Act. Let me see here. So like, I don't know why this thing's moving. I know why it's moving so slow because I have all these tabs open. Let me close it. Some of these tabs here. Golly, this thing doesn't want to play now. Okay. Yeah, this kid.
From anonymous sources, but we're going to get into it. It all sounds legit and it all makes sense. The pieces of the puzzle fit. This Republican crap does not fit. So let's get into it. Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks, and what is his political affiliation? Thomas Matthew Crooks, ID'd as the person who attempted to assassinate former President Donald J. Trump at his.
Let's go a little bit further. See, this is what I'm talking about. These receipts here, right? Of purchases, of donations that he made to these organizations. You have the earmarked for progressive turnout project, right? Which is that's a left wing Democratic thing. And then he has this one that he donated to, which was the hybrid PAC, Act Blue. That's what it is, Act Blue. So, conveniently he has receipts for donations that he made to these different places, these different organizations, which are which are right wing, which are left wing things, Democratic things. So that's creating a great divide between the left and the right. The scriptures say that he shall set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and that's what Yahweh Shem Shai is stirring up right now. Just some information. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. I know I was all over the place, but forgive me for that, Salakia, and I'll say Shalom.